I'm doing this video from Rameshwaram, the island where I was born. I just had a bath from the waters from 20-some wells. These waters have the ability to dissolve the sins of people. Sin is a very important concept, whether it is in Hinduism or within Christianity or any other religion. Sin, in other words, is ignorance. Within the Christian traditions, it's a Christos video. Within the Christian tradition, sin is rational knowledge, dichotomized knowledge, knowledge of the good and bad. And that's why God said, don't eat the fruit of knowledge. What kind of knowledge? The knowledge of good and evil. Dichotomized knowledge of rationality. Otherwise, you should have wisdom. So I'm not going to be very philosophical here. I want to be down to this earth, trying to fix the problems of people. And the problem is sin. And we have to get rid of this sin. And how do you get rid of this sin? Just bathing in holy water. And that is a truth. I can go on and talk about the hydrogen project. I want you to read that book. That's a great book arguing that hydrogen is God. And that's for intellectuals and scientists to look at it. For very common people, when Jesus was talking to the common people and say, blessed ye be poor, because the kingdom is yours. That's a very controversial one we talked about. Does Jesus want the poor people to remain poor so that they can get the kingdom? Just because we are poor, we are not going to get the kingdom. And I just spoke about it. So what he meant was, he was giving, and then I translated blessed as, be wealthy, be poor. And that was a blessing that Jesus was giving to people. So I want you to go and look at that for that part of the message. But what I want to do today for you is, water can dissolve the sins, meaning it can make your brain better, to work better. So your rationality, your negativity will be suppressed, your ego will be suppressed. Your ego and rationality are the problems. Once these two things, the ego and negativity, are suppressed, then life will be fantastic. Now, Jesus has been presented in not a very rosy perspective, and it has been often presented that money is not important. Man, a camel can get into the eye of a needle, but not a rich man. So you cannot serve God and mammon. As if Jesus doesn't want to give people money. But what about the evangelists? Some of them, not all of them, the evangelists, but some evangelists are filthy rich. They have, as the title of this video clip says, they have food and fun. And I am not kind of against them or criticizing them. But I must tell something about those people whom I have watched very closely, these evangelists who have their own private jets, they have a lot of fun. They believe in fun equally as they believe in Jesus. And that is true. And their whole consciousness is immersed in Jesus. Or yes. Iso, and nothing but Iso. Okay, but they are also equally, focused on great food, very delicious food and as well as in getting fun. So all of you can do that. The problem is we are just focusing only on food and fun, not on Jesus. Okay? Or not on Esau. You have to focus on him. And if you focus on him, then you will get food and fun as a byproduct. So what is the main goal? The main goal is to get God first. And once you get God first, then everything will follow. But how much time do we spend on God? The church is open only on Sundays for a few hours, and then the sermons are presented in a perspective that is not encouraging, and then that doesn't help you to live this life, because in order to live this life you need food and money, and the sermons usually put down that and saying that it's not all important, because most people who go to the church are the have-nots. So if you just talk to them about money, and it is irrelevant because these people are not going to go make money anyway. So why talk about money to these people? Yes, they don't have skills. They are not educated, but then they still can make money. But now the way people look at it, well, he is a neurologist, he can at least make $1 million, a couple of $1 million. Or he is endocrinologist, and they can make money. Or he's a businessman, he's a stockbroker. But what am I doing? I'm working just in a small job, and then there is only possibility to make only a little bit of money here. And how can anybody in a situation like that make a lot of money so that they can have fun and food, good food, of course? Because good food is expensive. If you go to organic food, it's expensive. So the question today is Jesus against it? No, he's not against it. Time and again, he talks about power. I want to give you power. Not simply material power, because material power is subservient or below the power of the spiritual power. That's why in the Old Testament it is said, I'm going to win everything not through might. Then how? Through the Spirit. What Spirit? That is the Holy Spirit. And what is the Holy Spirit? And that is your spirit, your breath. Your breath is the Spirit. And when the breath is gone, the Spirit is gone. That's why the Bible says that you have, when he wanted to create, he just blew his breath into the images, and then Adam came into being. And this is not only in Bible, everywhere, even if you go to India today, if they want to make a particular statue to come alive, they blow the air. It's called prana pradishta. Prana means giving this Spirit, the Holy Spirit. And that is within you, and that is dormant within you. And when it becomes conscious, once you become conscious of the breath, then everything happens. So it is a matter of not simply going to the church and then listening to it, but understanding things in the proper perspective. Okay, otherwise you will go and socialize and waste your time. Watch your breath. Don't do anything. This is what the Buddha said to his son. Watch your breath. If you miss your breath, even one breath is being breathed without any consciousness. And that's not going to be helpful. Every breath you have to become conscious. And if you do that, then you are enlightened. Then you don't have to go and worry about who God is and where He is and what He is doing, how He is going to help and how He is going to end my suffering. All these are irrelevant. Don't talk about soul or anything. Just watch your breath. Count your breath and don't even miss counting your own one breath. And this is the Buddha who did not believe in God, did not believe in soul. And that is the same thing that is called as the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit can do it. Because Jesus said that it's not that the Holy Spirit is going to come from heaven. Of course, He does in another sense, and I will talk about it in some other context. But He also said very clearly, where is the Holy Spirit? I'm going to go. He said, the Holy Spirit abideth in you. What does that mean? The Holy Spirit abideth in you. It is there within you. You don't have to go and purchase it from somebody else. It's not available for purchase because it's not external to you. You may be poor, you may not have skills, you may have no degrees or nothing, you don't have a house to live, you don't have a car, but you have the Holy Spirit. You have the Holy Spirit. And that is your wealth. Your wealth is the Holy Spirit, which God gave it to you, which is His own breath. And it is with this holy breath you are going to create everything. So you have to really understand what this holy breath is all about. Not only understand, but also experience the holy breath, Holy Spirit, and live it. The mind is not going to give you an understanding of the Holy Spirit. That's why Jesus has to send it in a certain form, and then once the Holy Spirit as a persona entered into the body, mind and soul of the people during the Pentecost, they all began to prophesy. We don't know if all of them, but at least most of them had the ability to speak in tongue. And the speaking in tongue, why do you do that? Because you cannot experience God or the Holy Spirit, both are the same, with your mind. The mind has to be out of your way. Not only the mind has to be out of your way, your ego has to be out of your way. Your self, your ego self has to be out of the way. I asked a great artist, and then once I asked him, how did you paint this? Some of them are really great pieces of art, and some of them are not. And can you explain why? He said, the ones that I painted without my ego are the best. I have to get my ego self out of the way, because that will say, no, you have to work very hard and then put all these things in place in proper proportion and things like that. But when I am in my ego, I do a poor job. When I am not in my ego, when God is painting, it's perfect. Allow God, allow the Holy Spirit to function. Don't allow your mind. See, Oral Roberts used to say that he used to speak to the Holy Spirit at least anywhere between 30 to 40 times a day. It's all because people call him and then say, Oral, this is what is happening in my life, can you pray? Then he will go. But he cannot pray because his ego is there. then the ego is there, then he will remember who this person is, how much money he wants, whether it is possible for him to get money or not. Because he is just a guy with, making $2,000 a day and he is asking for $1 million. How is this going to happen? That's the mind, so it's useless to pray for him. This is the mind. But he is a millionaire and he is asking for another couple of $1 million. It's possible for him to pray for him and then take the credit, whether the Holy Spirit does it or whether it is just mere ingenuity on my part. And that ingenuity, that cleverness is the problem. Because once you bring in your rationality, your mundane mind, you will have mundane life. You won't have a miracle in your life. You won't have the money to buy food in an organic shop. Okay, you are looking for sale everywhere. Why? Because you don't have the money. Fun, of course, forget it. If you don't have money, you don't have fun. So how to get money and fun? Especially for the poor people and the people who have no money. God, the Holy Spirit is within you. Yesterday I was in a temple here, and this is in all temples, synagogues, wherever the Buddhist shrines or any shrine for that matter, the priest is praying. I'm 100% in this case was certain that his mind was elsewhere. And he has to do this job with all regret. He given an opportunity, he won't do it. Another opportunity, he won't even do that. So he is under obligation to do that. And the congregation who go there, their minds are on food and fun that they are not able to get, and then that's what they are going to ask God for. And they don't know how to even ask for. Ask, thy shall be given. I have spoken about that. Ask. But how can you ask with all your faith and not with doubt? How can you ask with your faith? Faith is impossible in this world. And it is getting more and more hard to have faith as science is advancing. But science is coming to a place, that's why I have incarnated at this time, to merge science with religion. Science is not bad at all. Science has to incorporate spirituality. The Holy Spirit, if it is included in science, the science will advance in leaps and bounds, vice versa. So your strength, where is your strength? Your strength is in the Spirit that is within you. That is not outside of you. I don't mind if you don't go to temples or anywhere, spiritual places, because your body itself is the temple. And it is inside your body, but not this physical, taking care of the physical body, going to gyms and salons and taking care of the external of the body. That's not going to work. Not that I'm against health, you have to take care of your health. But the body has to give you some understanding. What is the understanding? The understanding is the body is both at the same time a great opportunity, a device, but for experiencing God, but also it is at the same time a deterrent. It also is a great opportunity, a great device, but also a deterrent. How? The mind is housed in the body. And the body always gives you the experience of the ego the senses and the mind. Does it give you the experience of God? No. So what you have to do is, you have to understand the deterrent force in the body, which are the senses and the mind and so forth, ego. So the body gives you the experience of being in the jail, in the prison. And you have to thank the body for that. So you have to get beyond the body. And Jesus did a ritual for that. Break the body, let loose of the blood, drink the blood, eat the body, which is the bread, and then that will help you with that. And his own sacrifice has the same motive behind it. Well, by doing this, I am a representative of this humanity. And by doing this on behalf of these people, they are able to get beyond their flesh and blood. This is a great technology. I have talked about it in many places. Remember many years ago, on July 4th, I talked about this at some length. But anyway, so we have to get beyond that body, mind, and Holy Spirit will help you. Identify with the Holy Spirit. Just pray in the Spirit. And Moini has been doing a great job. Just go and listen to her and do that. So money and food and fun, vacation and cars, all these material things are possible. Jesus is not against it. As I said, he wanted to give you power, not just ordinary power that you can get through education and jobs, but the power of the Spirit. With the power of the Spirit, it will put you in the moment. It will put you in the second. And in the second, everything can change. In the wink of an eye, the body will turn into light. That's as simple as that. So what do you need to do? This is, forget about whatever I have said up until now. What do I need to do? You need to speak in tongue. How long? How many times? All the time. All the time, speak in the tongue, get the mind out of your way and pray. You won't know what you are praying because you are praying in another tongue. You are praying in gibberish. But you are really praying when you are speaking gibberish. Why? Because gibberish has no sense. But it takes you in the domain of a baseline. The baseline is the soul, the spirit. And the spirit starts to pray. And you won't know. Then how do you know? Then you will ask for an interpretation, and the interpretation gives that. Okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm very happy that I did this video for you from my place where I was born for a purpose, and my purpose of being on this earth plane is to get rid of the sin which in the Indian tradition called karma. To get rid of your karma. If you don't get rid of your karma or the sin, life will be the same till we die. And we don't want to do that. And that is, I'm very happy to do this video from Rameshwaram. And you may want to go say sometime in your life. You are in India, is easy. If you are, you can go. But if you are abroad, it will be a little bit expensive involved. But the Holy Spirit will make it possible. God bless.